Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and we're back out here in the garage for another upcoming projects video. And this is probably going to be a pretty short video because I only have one firearm to show you, but I think it's a pretty interesting one and one that I have always wanted to shoot and review. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this gun and this model and either love it or hate it. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on it, so tell me in the comment section. But I have the opportunity to shoot and review the Springfield Armory M1A. And this is my next door neighbor's. He's lent a few guns in the past to the channel, and I was recently talking with him about the fact he's moving away. Him and his wife, their last kid is graduating from high school, and they want to downsize, and so they're looking for land and a smaller house. And I took the opportunity to go, hey, you still have one rifle in your collection that I have not reviewed. May I borrow it? And he said, absolutely. So he went and got it out of the safe. And it's this one, Springfield Armory M1A. This one is in a camo finish or stock, but I don't think it's necessarily sporterized. Essentially, if you don't know, this is the civilian version of the M14, America's shortest serving battle rifle, or I guess standard issue rifle in the military, used in the late 1950s before the adoption of the M16. And this is a gun that has always fascinated me because, number one, it has military history and provenance to it. But being in the gun world for long enough, I have discovered that there is a huge love and fascination for the gun that preceded this, the M1 Garand, or Garand. And I've always felt that that was a very cool rifle. It was by far the best rifle of World War II. And I agree with George Patton's saying at the time, it was the greatest battle implement ever devised. But you guys know, time has gone on, technology has changed, the needs on the battlefield have changed. So having a rifle that had 8 rounds, that fed from a clip, that was heavy and bulky, might not be the best for today. But I can appreciate the gun for what it is. I've reviewed one. I had a great time with it. I have no issues with it. I would love to have one in my collection someday, but the prices on them have just gotten out of control. But the M14, or the Springfield M1A in the civilian configuration or version, I have never understood why it doesn't get the same love and respect as the Garand, because I think, although it was not the right rifle to adopt after World War II, because the rest of the world was going to intermediate cartridges, and the military, for some reason, wanted to stick with a full-powered rifle cartridge. They adopted the 308 or the 7.62 by 51 and got rid of the 30-06, which I can understand the advantages of that. But essentially, they wanted to modernize the Garand, and that's what you got here. A gun that looks very much like the Garand, if this was a wood, stocked one. The action is very similar, but it feeds from a magazine instead of a clip. And I don't know, you just think to yourself, like, okay, at the time it had full auto, which I know they say this was completely uncontrollable in full auto. I totally get that. I don't think that was necessarily something that they needed to put on, but they wanted it. But why doesn't the M14 get the same love as the Garand? I don't understand. And I have always thought that the M1A would be a very popular rifle because of that, but it's not. It just doesn't have the same following, and many people that carried it hated it. But what surprises me is that there are people that carried the M14 that also carried the Garand, but they prefer the Garand. So I'm really excited to get this to the range and see what it's all about. See what the difference is. As I said, I know when this thing was adopted, it was pretty much already obsolete because the rest of the world was going to what we might call assault rifles with, a bunch of, you guys know, intermediate cartridges, things that were much more controllable. The battlefield had changed. So it was not the right rifle to adopt. But the people that love the Garand, I would think, would love this. And it just doesn't seem to be that way. So I'm really excited to find out what this thing shoots like. I'm pretty sure, with the exception of this camo stock, it's pretty much like a standard M1A. And if I ever got one myself, that's the version I would get. The one with the wood stock, with the full-length barrel. the one that would be the closest to what the M14 was. I'm not really into that shorter one, like was it the SOCOM or whatever. Yeah, that just doesn't interest me. I think it looks goofy with that short barrel. But this one, I think, looks really nice. And I like the aesthetics of it, with the exception of the stock. Not a big fan of the camo, because I'm just not a hunter. But anyway, that's just what I wanted to share with you today, and I'm really excited. I got to put this one in the rotation. So if you own a Springfield Armory M1A, or maybe you are of the generation that might have shot or carried the M14, or you're just somebody that collects guns and has a Garand and an M1A, tell me your thoughts on this rifle. And tell me your perspective on it as a civilian gun and as a military gun, and why was it not as beloved as the Garand? So that would help me in my preparation for the review, because I like to make that part of the discussion and then get my initial thoughts and opinions on it. So after I shoot it and kind of, figure out what the recoil's like and so forth. Because I only have one magazine for this review. I think it's a 10-rounder. I'll probably do most of my shooting from the bench, just testing its accuracy out. But I will do a little bit shooting it from the shoulder as I guess we'll say, a battle rifle. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. And please help me out on this review, because your insights could be very beneficial to how I structure this range report. And what do you guys think of Springfield Armory in general? You guys know that I do have a little bit of a problem with them because of their past and being a little bit anti-gun. Some people get mad at me because of that, but that's just how I feel about it. But the M1A is one of those guns that I could look past that for to actually get. I think there was another company, I think it was Fulton Armory, that used to make essentially an M14 copy or clone, semi-automatic only, but instead of using a cast receiver, it used a forged receiver. And I'm not really sure which one was original. I think the forgings were the originals back in the 50s. Once again, I got to do a little bit more research. But I just got this in, and I have to get it into the queue. So what do you guys think of the Springfield Armory M1A? And what do you think of the camo stock? Even though I'm not a big fan of it, some of you guys might love it. So that's the upcoming projects, and I also have a few things to film. I know they've already released it, but I do need to now do a review on the O-Sight S in olive, drab, or green. And in fact, I even need to do the review on the black one. So it's the same sight, so I'm just going to do one video for both. And I promised my friend Jack, who lent a pistol to the channel that uses this footprint, this one right here, that I'd give him one of these. So I guess I'll ask him if he wants the green or the black. But I think the black's going to look better on this gun, but we'll see. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And what do you think of the Springfield M1A? So, as always, thanks for watching.